our speaker, so Mr. Ubaidullah Khan. Most welcome. It is good
Thank
to
you.
have you to this session.
Thank you, Maria, for having me and everyone who's joining us as a virtual audience and watching us on different platforms. A very good afternoon to one and all. Maria, can I start?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Great. First of all, thank you, IKIGAI and the team for having me and for organizing this on this such a interactive platform, I would say. And yes, thank you all the audience who has joined us today. It's a great pleasure to have with all of you on this session and to interact with all of you. So, before I start off, there's few things that I'd like to say. First and foremost, basically there are two things that I want to know from all of you. Firstly, since I see that most of the audience is student, because that's what I can see. So I just want to know how many of you are from what background or what age group, so that I can give you relatable examples and we can have a good conversation that can be beneficial for all of you. So you can just type your answers in the comment section and I can read it from here. Right, great. And yes, while you type your answers, I hope that this session is going to be interactive. Although we cannot have a communication like as a voice communication, but you can type whatever you want to in the chat box, and if needed, you can also stop me and I can address to your question. However, I think there is one question and answer session in the end as well. So yes. All right, so most of you are in the age groups of 20s and most of you are students, is what I get. All right, great, that's amazing. So then if that's the case, then I think it's going to be much beneficial because I too am in my 20s, and apart from all the other things, I also am a student. So we can relate to all of what I speak today. Just give me 1 second so that I can share my screen. And before you have great assumptions, let me just tell you that in this session, I have not planned for any great presentations because I want it to be more interactive rather than having great presentations like how I do in my other sessions. So yeah, just bear with me over there. All right, since most of you know that today's session is about finding your passion and pursuing it is what I was told to. So before we dive on to many details about that, here's something that I think most of you know, the word passion. All right. Even if you do not know the word passion, you might have encountered the word success, right? Most of us have always heard the word success right from our childhood days, maybe in our school, maybe at our home, or maybe in gatherings with relatives, anywhere like that. You might have heard about the word success and the fact that you have to become successful when you grow up, maybe in your adulthood or any time that you come to your senses. But here's the thing. Success can be measured in different aspects. Some measure it in money matters or something like that. But what most of us mistake is that we find success not just in passion, in the things that we are passionate about. In fact, in the session, I'll also give you some examples and some surveys which have which have showcased the fact that it's not necessary for you to pressurize yourself in every aspect to just attain success. In fact, many people who are passionate about different things and have pursued their passion are more successful than the other people. So, what is passion is the first thing, because that's what anybody can think about when they hear about this thing. So in simple language, just so that everyone can understand what passion is, in a layman's language, anything that you like and you're pursuing it, maybe at a greater level or maybe as a side business or side thing, but you are pursuing it. and that is something that you actually want to do, something that you are interested to do, something that you are happy to do. That is your passion. Something that can also define you, can also be your passion. So passion basically does not have a specific definition. It is defined by different people in different aspects. So everybody, since we might always know that all the five fingers are not the same, all the sizes are different. Similarly, every person out there in the world has a different aspect to view different things, right? That is called a perspective. You might view something in some let me take the example over here. You might have heard about the example of a half full glass of water, right? So I've given this example multiple times, and I've personally seen that clash of perspectives. Many people, in my other sessions that I've conducted in different colleges, many people have given me different answers for the same thing. I just gave them a glass of water that was half full. Some people said that it was half full. Some people said that it is half empty. That's what we perceive. But there were many other people as well who gave different answers. Like some said that it is half filled with oxygen. Some said that it also have different gases. Some said that it is warm water. Some said it's cold water. So there are different perspectives for one simple thing, but the thing still remains the same. Similarly, in the terms of passion, many people can have different perspectives of what exactly a passion is. Something that a person has experienced right from the childhood, and they think that it's good for them. They might perceive it as their own passion. But on the other hand, some people might think that I have seen this so and so thing at so and so place, and I think that that is what I really like, and I think I can pursue it. That is his passion or her passion. Some might have different opinion. So passion can be simply defined as something that you look forward to do, something that really gives you happiness. That is the best definition that I can give you about passion in the layman's language. So now that we know what passion is, right? But there's a difference between passion and purpose. Here's some quote that I had found, that I'd read somewhere, that passion is for you and as an individual, but purpose is for others. Now let's discuss about what a passion is and what a purpose is, right? For example, I've seen IKIGAI, this organization, from quite a while now, and how it started and what position IKIGAI is right now in the world, which is really substantial. So yeah, congratulations for that. But now coming back to the example of passion and purpose, you know what passion is, but you might not know what a purpose is. Giving you an example over here, something that you do for yourself is a passion, and something that you do for others is your purpose. That is clear. But the purpose cannot always make you happy. The purpose may sometimes, give you setbacks. Sometimes can give you something that might not be really a positive thing. But your passion will give you happiness. Passion is something that will make you happy. But if you utilize it for others, that is, if you utilize your passion for others, that's a service, and that is a purpose. And that is exactly what I think IKIGAI is doing, because it had started with a passion by one person, and now it is serving the people, not just in India but abroad, and that is a purpose. So there's a difference between a passion and purpose. Most of us, since most of us are students over here, and I think there are a few others as well who are a little more in age than us, what mistake we usually do is that we often neglect passion for the purpose. We often do not think that we will be pursuing a passion in order to provide a service, which is a purpose in simple terms, but we do not do that. What we do is something that has been given to us as a knowledge right from our childhood, something that has been told to us that you have to do this. This is what is expected out of you. That has become your purpose. You're not that happy by doing it. You're not satisfied when you actually do that work, but you have to do it because that has been programmed in your mind. That has been programmed to you right from your childhood days, or maybe in your teenagers, that you have to do this, hook or crook. There's no other choice, and that is a purpose. So let me state a fact over here. There was this survey that was conducted by an organization that is based in Seattle, right? So they had conducted a survey that had spanned around few months, wherein they have called people who were actually doing something that really motivated them, which basically is their passion. And they also called few people who just did work so that they can make the ends meet for the family, or something that they were told to do but they did not willingly did it. And surprisingly, the charts that have come out after that survey indicated that the people who were doing something out of their own passion really had substantial results. That is a positive result in every terms, in terms of relations with family, in terms of job security, in terms of mental peace and other things. But these three are the most important things. So they really had substantial results in terms of the people who are doing something out of their passion. But the results were really negative when it came down out of the people who are doing something that out of their own purpose, that they are just doing it just for the sake of doing it. They have no interest in it, they are not passionate about it, but they are just doing it. So it's really important for you to know that it's okay if you're not doing something that has been told you to do. But if you're doing something out of your own passion, something that's really making you happy, something that you are satisfied with, that will be helpful for you, not just now but also for your next coming life, right? So you have to understand the difference between a passion and a purpose. There's no wrong in doing a purpose as long as it involves your passion. As I said, passion will definitely make you happy because that is something you like out of your own mind. But if you're doing something, if you're utilizing all the services for others by utilizing your passion, that is also a purpose, and that will also make you happy. So there are different aspects of a purpose. As I said, there are two aspects that I just directly gave you in front. That something that you're doing out of your passion is also a purpose, but something that has been programmed to you from your childhood days or from your teenagers that you have to do is just a purpose, and that is not going to be that substantial. So I need you to know the difference between the passion and purpose, and you should understand that purpose is not always something that you should opt for. Rather, you can also opt for passion. Right now, yes, I had started my session by talking about success, right? If you remember. So what we always assume is that success, if a person is successful, right, in his 30s or 40s in his life, then that person is regarded to be something really good. But what we do is, when we measure the success, we measure in three basic categories. That is how knowledgeable that person is. If that person is really knowledgeable, if that person has a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, a lot of practical knowledge as well, to be precise, that person is successful. Also, if a person has a large network, that may be or may not be because of his knowledge, but that person has a large network, that the person is known by a lot of people, then that person can also be categorized as successful people. But what most of us do, in fact I would say the majority of us do, is that we measure success in terms of the wealth we have, the financial wealth we have. If I have a lot of money in my bank account, I have a lot of money in my house, then I'm successful. That is what most of us perceive. In fact, that is wrong. I have no measure of success as such, because I have this rule that I follow always, that you should never think that you are successful. Once you think that you are successful, your graph will start going down, because you should, that's a human mindset, to be precise. If you have that mindset that yes, after attaining so and so stage, I'll be successful, and when you actually attain that stage, you will be getting some kind of greed that I have become so good, I have become so amazing, and I've reached that position, and that will give you many different negative thoughts, to be precise. And that is when your graph will start to go down and down and down. That will be the time when you will be reaching the pinnacle of your success, and then you will not be reaching that position ever in your life. So that is something, right? Abdul Ali says that agree, success is not one-time destination, it's a never-ending journey. Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. So if you think that you are successful, that's it, you'll not be progressing. So I live by the rule that I have never considered myself to be successful at no matter what position I reached ever. So coming back to what we were talking about, many people, to be precise, many adults think that if that person has a lot of money, then that person is successful. But you can also measure success in many different aspects. Like for example, if you're pursuing a passion and you might not be making a lot of money, but you'll be having a good a life, you'll be having a good mental peace to and also have good family relations. That is really more important than anything that matters in your life. Not just money, but also anything in your life. If you're having a mental peace, that will help you to think about many different things, and that may or may not get you a lot of more money. So in the end, something that really matters to you in your life is, are you satisfied with what you're doing? And that can also be a matter of measuring success. Not just these three things, these can also be measured, but there are many other things. And that is when you will be relating the concept of passion with measuring success. If you're pursuing your passion, right, if you are doing something that's really satisfying, something that's really helping you, and you'll be getting more benefits than the other people who might have a lot of money in the bank, who might have a lot of knowledge, who might also have a lot of network, but you have something great apart from that, which is mental peace, and that is your success. I hope that is clear. And again, that happens when you'll be pursuing your passion. So just relate to everything that I'm trying to say here, that passion is something that's really important in your life, not just in terms of having a good, well settled life, but also to have a good life as in a person, like having a mental peace, being in the best state of it, being more very healthy, being really in good coordination with other people, having a good social interaction. That is also that is also successful life. So just remember that pursuing a passion has many things. One of that is also getting success in your life. Moving ahead, um, yeah, moving ahead. Since again most of you are students, so this is something that you can directly relate with, right? Since we are just in that moment of life wherein we'll be either taking a sharp U-turn or maybe going into some path that is going to define your next 40 years, right? I was conducting this session in an engineering college, so I told them that if you misutilize these 4 years of your life, these 4 years are going to ruin your next 40 years of your life. I don't know how many of you are from engineering, but yes, this time that you have in your hand, that is your teenagers, is going to define what you are going to do in the next large part of your life. So this is the time when you'll be identifying your passion, when you'll be finding your passion, and when you'll be starting to pursue it. But there are few mistakes that happen when you actually try to find your passion, right? There are many things like that, but something that nobody can tell you about are these things that I'm going to talk about over here, right? First and foremost, you might think that what I'm observing in my household since my childhood, that so and so person is doing so and so thing, and you think he or she is really good in your life. That might be your parents, that might be your uncle, that might be your aunt, or maybe any person in your life, not just in your home, but also in your friend circles, in your school, or in your relatives, in the locality that you live in. You might see a person that you think, that you assume that, oh yes, he looks like he's really happy with what he's doing, he's really satisfied with what he's doing, when in fact you do not know if that is a reality or not. You're just assuming, and you tell to yourself, hey, that person is really doing good in his life. I will also be doing the same thing in my life, so that I'll also be happy, I'll also be satisfied. But you do not know whether is that the real practical thing or not. That person might show that he is successful, but it's not necessary that he or she might be successful or not. He or she might be just fulfilling the purpose of making the ends meet, but he might not be satisfied. So the biggest mistake that we do in finding our own passion is that we look up to people and have assumptions. We assume different things without even knowing what's the ground reality. We assume many things that's not actually practical. We are see, our mind is something that is like a God gifted thing, which is the best among every creation, right? So we tend to utilize it in many different aspects which are not actually supposed to. So we let our minds wander into different thoughts, and we get different thoughts. One thing that I'll tell you definitely over here is that don't constipate your mind with different thoughts, with your different ideas, because see, you need not have to be as good as someone else, right? Because that is not practically possible as well. But remember this, that you have to mandatorily be the best you can ever be. But that does not mean that you will be as good as Mr. Some so and so that you are looking up to. You're thinking, you're assuming that that person is successful, I'll become like that person. And you work in your life to become like that person. It's okay. You need not copy any person, you need not look up to any person. In fact, sometimes you need not need a motivation, right? I'll come to that later. But if you're happy in your own life, that yes, what I'm doing right now, if that your passion can be anything. Like, you can have a good life, you can have a good career in, say, painting. You can have a good career in sports. You can have a good career in, you can in coding. Anything that actually satisfies you, but that should not be at the cost of you working yourself to make you better, to get compared with any other person. But you have to be the best version of yourself. That is one mistake that we always do. We look up to people, we assume different things, and we try to be them, which in fact is not always it is not just practical, but it always not works in your favor, because it's your own assumptions. You are thinking many different things, and you might get into different aspects, and you might not have a proper guidance about doing things, and you might end up making mistakes. Again, you are beating around the bush. So that is one mistake that many of us do. Apart from that, most of us have basically heard about different things right from our childhood, that you can become an engineer or you can become a doctor. Basically, those two are the only things that we have always heard about. Apart from that, we many of us, when I've interacted with many students, they do not even know that there are many careers, there are many pathways to live your life apart from being a doctor and an engineer. Many of us have been feed it into our brain that you can either be an engineer, you can be a doctor, and whatever profession you are choosing, you have to be the best in that. It's okay if you're not, but if as long as you're doing something, again, as long as you're doing something that you're passionate about, it's okay if you're not achieving the heights. You will eventually achieve the heights because you're happy in that. You know why? Because if I tell you to do something that you're really happy in, right? If I tell you to do so and so task and you're really happy about it, you'll be foregoing all of the other things. You'll be foregoing your food, your sleep cycle. You'll be foregoing your friends, but you'll be doing that thing because you're really happy about it. Now the same thing, if I tell you to do something that you're not happy with, you're not passionate about, but I've told you to do that, you might end up doing it, but you'll not be really happy about it. You'll not be doing it out of your own will. You'll not be passionate about it. And the results of these two things will automatically speak that your result in doing something that you're not passionate about has not yielded good results. So in the end, people might tell you n number of things, right? People have this habit of telling different things to, even if they do not have knowledge about that, they just come and give you suggestions. But it's in your hand, because it's your own life. It's your life that you are going to live. If you think that you are really happy about doing something that you're really passionate about, even if that is something that people do not agree to, but you know that yes, I will be doing something substantial in it, then you should be going ahead with that, because you're happy in it, and you'll be doing anything, you name it, but you'll be doing anything to get to your target. So these two are the most important things that most of us commit. And it's not always necessary to listen to what people say. I'm not talking about parents, but you always have to listen to your parents though. But apart from parents, there are many people who just come and give you suggestions. It's okay if you do not listen to them. as long as you're listening to your brain as well as your heart. Never just go with either your heart or your brain. Always go with both of them, because sometimes you might think that I will just go with my heart, and if my heart says that this is something that I'm passionate about, I'll be doing it. But your mind has that idea that it is not something that is really fit for you. You might not end up doing something great in it. And when you actually listen to your heart and you do that, you end up doing that. So sometimes it's okay to listen to both of your heart and brain and take a firm decision, because there's nothing like a bookish thing or a bookish rule that you have to follow this rule head and fast rule. Something that you're really happy about, something that you really think that yes, I can do it. Because again, as I said, brain is the biggest creation that God has given us. If you know, if you can foresee your future that yes, I can do it, then you have to do it. Remember one thing: if you have this issue that while finding your passion you're not able to actually come to a decision, so do this one tip that I also do, and I tell people to do that. Stand in your life, fast forward to 10 or 15 years, or maybe 5 or 10 years as well. See that if you do something that you were planning to do, something that you're planning to do now, will it be a re-benefit for you in the next 5 to 10 years? If you think it will, and analyze all the possibilities, analyze all the perspectives. Don't just see something that I think that this is something really that is really good. I'll be only looking at this positive aspect, whereas there are a number of things that is negative about me pursuing this path. You should not ignore them. See all the possibilities. Imagine yourself in that position after 5 to 10 years. If you think that it is really beneficial for you, then go ahead with that passion. That is something that you can do to any aspect. And passion is something that is not just one or two things. You can have a number of passions, but again, don't let multiple passions get mixed up, because see, they say that too many cooks spoil the broth. That is a quote that we have been hearing from maybe a childhood. So you always have to remember that there has to be one solid path that has to be a career. You can do a number of things in while in your side while doing actually your career path, but there should not be more than two things that you're actually thinking of making your original career path. Because once you get mixed up into multiple things, you'll not be able to focus on one thing, and you'll not be able to achieve success in both the things. So you'll be either failing in one thing and maybe performing okayish in the other thing, or maybe the vice versa. So if you just focus on one thing and do something really great in that, maybe after that you can go and pursue other passion. That is all about mistakes that most of us do. Now, coming to the most important thing, I think I've mentioned most of the thing about finding your own passion um, previously. But so this is something that really we have to talk about in this session, because it's about finding a passion and pursuing it. So as I said, there is no bookish rule, there is no hard and fast rule, there is no course for finding a passion. Again, it is all depending upon you, how good you think that particular field is for you, right? How satisfied are you, and how happy are you, and how good are do you think that you'll be growing in that field from 5 to 10 years from now on? So nobody can suggest you about it. You see, even if I tell you what your passion is, then I'll be just enriching your life. But if I teach you how to find a passion, then you'll not just be enriching your own life, but also of the other people. Because something that has been taught, you'll be remembering that, and then you can pass on that knowledge to others. So if I tell you that this is your passion, go and pursue it, then maybe you will pursue it, then maybe you'll be getting good results in it. But that's not compulsory, because I do not know what you have in your mind, what things you're good in, what things you're really great at. Something that is something that you will identify by yourself. So the best way to find a passion, in one simple line, is to introspect. Introspect is basically something that you will be analyzing yourself, right? You will be asking yourself, because see, in your life, nobody else is the main character. you are the main character of your own life. You have to think about yourself first and about everyone else later on, because again, it's your life, you are going to live it. Nobody else is going to live it for you. So if you think that I am good at so and so part, I think if I develop few skills of mine in that particular aspect, then maybe I can do substantial things. Maybe I can grow. Maybe I can actually take it as my career path. Maybe I can also take it as a side path and maybe do really good things in that. But that will happen only when you find a passion by asking yourself. Nobody can come and tell you this is your passion. Nobody can feed you that. And if even if someone does you that, it is not going to be really practical, because again, it's your life. So ask yourself, see whether where are you good at. There are many aspects of analyzing yourself. Make a chart. See what your hobbies are, see what your interests are, see what places you are good at, and then make a tabular column saying that I might be good at this, maybe I'll be lacking these skills in that particular aspect, and just fill the table for all the other things that you have in your mind. And then analyze that these things are something I can pursue as my passion. These things are just my hobbies. So strike off the other things. Once you strike off all the other things, you'll be coming to a conclusion that yes, this can be my passion. This can be something that I can work on. This can be something that I'll be really happy in, right? And then analyze yourself, whether will you be doing really good after 5 to 10 years. If that answer is yes, then that is your passion. So in simple words, again, coming back to the square, that finding a passion only happens when you introspect yourself, when you dive into yourself, when you find yourself, when you explore yourself. And one more thing, what I like to add over here is that most of us, like majority of us, do this thing that we have become so accustomed to this tradition that we live our life for the sake of others. We hardly pay time to ourselves. We might achieve a lot of things, but we fail to congratulate ourselves for that. We might be we might be congratulating many other people. That does not matter. You also did hard work for so and so that you might achieve great results in your academics. You might be in sports, you have got a third place or a runner up, which is also a prize, which is also an achievement. You might donate something to someone who's really at need of that. You might receive blessings from them. That is an achievement. You might help people. You might see their smile. That is an achievement. All the achievements basically are made up by small achievements. So if you start congratulating yourself, if you start focusing on yourself in your life, then you will be leading a good life. And that is what we do not do basically. If we start doing that, if we start looking after ourselves, then we'll not just do really good in our life, but also we'll be happy in our life. And that is why I'm trying to tell you that introspect, explore yourself, talk to yourself. You are the main character of your life. If you ask yourself, and if you get to know that yes, I'm good at so and so part, then that is something that you can actually pursue as your passion. And that is actually the only way I think you can find your passion. There might be a number of other things that can be given on internet, but for me, this is something that's really practical and something that has been working for not just me, but for many other people as well. So just introspect yourself, ask yourself, explore yourself, and then find your passion. I'll be hurrying up because I have been given a time limit of just up till 4 o'clock. So yes, now that you have come across, say that when you have introspected yourself and you have explored yourself, you came to a conclusion that yes, this might be something that I am passionate about. This might be something that I'm happy about. This might be something I can pursue as my passion. So then you have to analyze three things basically, right? Firstly, you have to, as I said, you have to think that if I fast forward my life to 5 or 10 years from now on, will I be able to live a decent life? Will I be able to grow in my life if I'm pursuing my passion now? That is one thing. Then there are two other things, that whatever your passion is, Are you happy about it? That's what I've been telling from so long. And secondly, are you alive? Something that makes you feel alive. What that means is basically, let me just give you an example over here. You have seen people working a 9 to 5 job. You have seen people who are just working to fulfill the purpose, that is to make ends meet, but they're not really happy about that job. Their satisfaction in that job is really less. That is what that will make them feel dead, because they are just doing for the sake of fulfilling the purpose. They are not passionate about it. So when you're not passionate about something, you'll not be alive, which makes you dead from inside. And when a person starts to decay from inside, that is when they start to die from inside. That is when they'll be losing focus, they'll be losing the purpose of their life, and they'll be the graph of their life, of the performance of in their life, will start to go down and down, because they are not able to keep up with the things. They are not able to be happy in what they are doing. So they might be achieving results, they might be having good income, they might be fulfilling all of the needs of his or her family, but that is only for a limited period of time. That cannot be going on for the entire lifetime. But if you're doing something that you're happy about, something that makes you feel alive, that is something that will not just be until you retire, but also after that. Something that will stay with you forever, because that is something you decided to do on your own by asking yourself, which is your passion. And that is why it is important to do something that makes you feel alive, that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel satisfied, and also that makes you feel passionate about, that makes you feel happy about, that yes, I'm doing this and that is out of my passion. So these three things, that is something that you have to ask yourself, that yes, I'm doing this, and I have fulfilled all of these three criterias, and there's a tick for all of these three criterias. That is about finding your own passion. Now now you've found your passion, like you have asked yourself, you have explored yourself, you have come to a conclusion, and you have ticked all of the three criteria, that yes, these three things fulfill about what I'm doing, and that is my passion. Now comes to the final stage, to pursue your passion. All right, before I tell that, there's one example that I want to give you all. You might have heard about this example somewhere. I remember I read this example in a small book that I was reading in a library in my school days. That there was this person. Okay, there was this person who lived with his family of a wife and I guess one son, and that was set up in a rural area. What happened, and it's a Chinese story. So why I'm telling this is because all of the Chinese stories that I've ever read has a great moral behind that. Most of us have read many stories, but that might be something that's okay, that might have a good moral or not. But all of the Chinese stories are really having a great morale, but also will be leaving an impact. So coming back to the example, there was this person who was living with his family, and he had only one son, and they were living in a rural area, so they were involved in farming business. So they had a farm, and both the father and the son, and occasionally the mother also, used to help the family in the farming things, that is whatever is involved. One day, one of the animal of that farmer ran away, right? And all of the villagers came to that person and expressed their grief, that, oh, it's so sad that your animal ran away. I'm sorry for that, but I just got carried away. So I was talking about the example, right? In that example, the cow of that person, or the farmer, ran away, and the villagers came to that person, expressed their grief, saying that, oh, it's so sad that your cow ran away. And then the next day, seven cows came back to his farm randomly from somewhere, and then the villagers came back to the farmer and said that, oh, it's so great that you did not just get back your cow, but also you got many more animals. Then the third day came, and one time when the son was grazing in the field, he basically injured himself and fractured his leg. And then the villagers came to the farmer and said that, oh, it's so sad that your son lost his leg. It's so pity of you. And then he said, maybe. On the first day, when villagers came and expressed their grief, he said that maybe it's a problem. On the second day, when all the animals came back, the farmer again said, maybe it's a good thing. On the third day, when the son fell ill, when the son fractured his leg, the farmers expressed their grief, and the farmer again said that maybe it's a bad thing. The next day, on the fourth day, the military people came to the village and said that all of the elder sons of every family has to go and serve in the army, because that's a rule. And the military people came to the farmer's family and said that your son has a fractured leg. I don't think we can take him into the army. So they just left. And then the villagers came back to the farmer and said that, oh, it's so great that he did not take your son. All of our sons have gone to the military. And the farmer again said, maybe. So the moral of the story is that you never know what's good or what's bad until it actually happens. So you can presume things, you can forecast things, but you always do not know that whatever I'm forecasting, whatever I'm assuming, is it good, is it bad? Is it really going to be helpful for me or not? You can only know about that until and unless it happens. And by the rule of the God, everything will happen when it has to happen. You never know. You cannot predict things. Maybe things can go the wrong way. Maybe things can go the better way. But you always do not know if it is a good thing or a bad thing. So, right, I think my screen is not visible. So yeah, I was talking about pursuing a passion. So you might not know always that what your passion is, what you're actually going to pursue. Is it going to be good or bad? But what you can do is you can try. Unless and until you try, you're not going to know what actually is it good or not. Another thing over here is that if you try anything, you'll be gaining experience, you'll be gaining knowledge. And once you gain knowledge, once you gain experience, that is an asset. That is an asset that will be with you not just until your professional life, but also afterwards, because you have learned things. You have fallen down, but you got up and you learned how to get up, how to do things in the correct way. You might know about Thomas Alva Edison. He tried inventing the bulb. He might have failed thousands of times, but after, when he succeeded, he gave this quote that I have known thousand ways of how this cannot work. He was not pessimist over there. He was optimistic that I might have failed many times, but I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the positive way that I now know that there are thousands ways that I can go wrong, but there is one way that I can also go right. And I've pursued that and I have got success in that. So unless and until you try things, you will not know whether is it good for you or is it bad for you. So when you pursue your passion, just remember that you'll be facing a lot of setbacks, not just setbacks, but also you'll be failing a lot. You'll be experiencing a lot of failures. But side by side, you might also have a lot of success. You might achieve a lot of things, because every coin has two sides to it. There might be a good side to it. There might be a bad side to it. But if you just overlook the bad side, take the learnings from them, apply to your life, and then make good out of it, that is what an optimistic person does, and that is what you have to do while you're pursuing your passion. You might be encountering a number of mistakes. You'll be falling down again and again. Let me tell you this: most of you have heard about Harry Potter or J.K. Rowling, and you might also have heard about this, that before actually publishing her novel, that is Harry Potter, she failed 20 times. Not just her, even you take all of the successful people in the world, most of them have failed many times. They have become successful only by failing again and again. The more you fail, the more you'll be learning, and then the more you'll be getting confidence to strike back with a more powerful thing. And once you get back, you'll be not just having a much better confidence, but you will also have more knowledge, more experiences, that yes, this thing will not work, I'll try this thing. That will also not work, I'll try another thing. That is how you'll be moving ahead in your life while pursuing your passion. And since it's your passion, you'll not be feeling tired. You'll not feel exhausted that, yes, I have done this so and so number of times and I still do not reach to a milestone wherein I can tell that, yes, I have done something good, something successful. Because that is your passion, you'll be having that urge to do that. You will never feel tired. You'll be having that desire from inside that I have asked myself, I have asked whether is this my is my passion, am I good to go with it? And I've got the answer as yes. When I got the answer as yes, I will have to pursue it. I will have to hook or crook, make it happen. It's like a do or die situation. You have to do it. Once you um, make up your mind that I have to hook and crook do that, you'll be ending up by doing it. And once you do it, you'll be learning a lot of things. And in the end, maybe after a year, maybe after 5 years, or maybe after 10 years as well, you'll be reaching that milestone that you had thought of while forecasting things, that I told you that you have to fast forward your life 5 to 10 years and then think, am I going to be really good in that or not? And that forecasting will actually happen in real life when you go this way. So you'll be not your journey in your pursuing your passion is not going to be easy. Take it in a written format. It is going to be hard, definitely. But the amount of perseverance that you'll be having, the amount of efforts that you'll be putting in it to pursue your passion is going to reap you benefits in your life, not just until you retire, but also afterwards. So that is about your pursuing your passions. I think that's it from my side. Is there any questions from your side that is to be taken?
Yes, so that will take the question answer series. We are running out of the time. So, guys, if you have any questions, you can go on ask the guy. He's ready to answer your questions. You can just ping in the chat box if you have any. Though the session was very informative, it was great to all the
Thank you.
perspective, and it was amazing.
I really hope that. How did you get to know about Ikigai? Um, Ikigai was when actually Ikigai was forming. I was approached at that time, so
Wait, I'm
I think
sorry to interrupt. The session is getting ended. I'll just start the another one. We'll just
sure,
get back to the question series.
sure, sure, sure. Right, here I am.
Yeah, you can continue.
So I think I've answered the first question. About the second question, sir, what are you studying right now? I'm currently in my graduation, and yeah, I'm from the Department of Computer Science Engineering. That's what I'm studying right now. What's something you're passionate about? One thing that always drives me, one thing that I'm always passionate about is the fact that um, I may be of help. I be of help to anyone. That can be through sharing knowledge. That can be through helping. That can be through providing mentoring. That can be through um, providing resources. Anything like that. That is something that I'm really passionate about, helping others, because I have this thing that in the end all of us have to go and we'll be going with nothing. So by the time you have knowledge, by the time you have resources, just keep on forwarding that, keep on helping people so that you can extend your help, and those people can extend help to other people, and that chain goes on and on and on. And that is how people can grow, people can develop, and we can bring about a change in our society. That's what I'm passionate about.
That's cool. I guess somebody have listed a question in the question answer
Oh, sorry.
area, but then wait, the session got ended, so we missed the question. So the one who have entered the question, please rewrite it. Anybody else would like to ask anything?
Um, I just want to ask something.
Sure.
Since you are in an organization of Ikigai, what is that one thing or one specific area you would personally work at, or you would bring an impact or change?
So what impact or change could I bring, or what impact or change was brought in me?
Yeah, in both ways.
Okay. Firstly, the impact or change that I got in myself is that um, there were many things that I lacked, to be very honest. And I think I have no shame in saying that I am not that perfect, because I never like to be perfect. I still am learning. I still am in the path of developing myself, upskilling myself. So there were a lot of things that I was not really good at, like interacting with people, or maybe living a good student life. So that's what I really developed in myself by being a part of Ikigai. And apart from that, I did not interact that much because I'm not that social. So I don't know how impactful was I to the Ikigai community, but I really hope that I was. And even if I was not impactful, I hope that this session was not just relatable, but also could be of impact for all of us who have attended the session, not just to find your passion or something like that, but also to become a better person by finding your own passion. So if not until now, at least I hope that I am impactful, at least after this session.
It sure did set an impact on all of us.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to ask anything? What is your passion, Ubaid, and how do you define it according to you? Like, if you would have to define it in one word or one sentence.
um, as I said, for the previous question, that my passion is always to extend help,
Uh-huh.
because in simple language, that can be in many different formats. So that will be another a long discussion if we have to discuss about that. But in simple language, my passion is to just extend my help in any format that is possible, and not just living a better life, but also to be professionally sound, to be personally sound. Because I feel that, see, in the end, if you lose money, you'll be not losing anything. If you lose your health, you'll be losing something. But
Uh-huh.
if you lose your character, you'll be losing everything. So that is something that I really am passionate about, that I have to develop myself as a good character. I have to develop myself as a better person, some person that people can look up to and can take help from to become a better person themselves. And when more people are becoming better day by day, then we can contribute to the betterment of the community, to the society, and then at large to the world as well. So coming down to the basic foundation, my passion is to develop myself and to extend help to anyone who requires my help.
Oh, that's great. Amazing. Okay, there's another one. How was it like for you when you started a journey on pursuing your passion in life?
Okay, so um, initially it was difficult, because I think I still am, but I have changed. So I was an introvert, like a complete introvert, back in my +2 days, in my intermediate days. So the change that I saw in myself from those days to now is substantial. So that has become because I thought that enough of living life the way I lived it until now. Now I have to find a purpose, and now I have to live a life that I am passionate about, that I'm satisfied about, that I'm happy about. And when I thought about that, when I brought change in myself, I really changed in many different aspects, not just by improving my mental health, but also physically, but also socially. And that also helped me in building different network, by building a quality network. And also it gave me an idea about how more options do we have to live a life that can be more beautiful, not just in terms of the attractions that we have, but also from inner life. So that's what all the changes that I've seen. So it was initially a little difficult, I would say, because the transition from being an introvert to semi-introvert was really difficult. But once I was satisfied about, once I was happy about what I'm doing, it was really a piece of cake, because I know what I'm doing. I know what my goal is. I'm really satisfied about that. I'm really happy about that. I'm really content about that. That gave me the motivation to go on and on. So afterwards, it was a really great journey. I think there's one more question.
Yeah, there is.
I think there's two more questions.
Exactly.
Brother, what's your startup about? All right. I have never answered that question. I came across that question n number of times because I have um, a past that dealt with entrepreneurship and startup industry, startup ecosystem. So what I felt was that I have not yet developed myself that in that particular aspect that I can be introducing myself as a startup founder. So until and unless I'm sure about that, I don't think I'm going to reveal what my startup is. But for now, HEYU is what I am representing, what my organization is, and what is the community that I'm trying to form. So that's my startup basically, but cannot give more information about that because I too am not sure about it.
It's fine.
The next question: what was your first win that made you confident that you were doing the right thing? Um, there were many things. I don't remember the first win as such, but there was this one thing that really motivated me drastically because that was a win that I consider to be really substantial, really great, which is that I was talking to some person, and that person was a little demotivated about his academics and about his personal life, and I kind of gave my inputs. I gave whatever help I could in every aspect, and then he told me one thing that um, not just my family, but no one ever did that to me. You being an unknown person, you just came out of nowhere and did this to me without any purpose. So he really thanked me for that, and that is something that really struck with me, and I consider that to be my win. My goal in the end is that if even one person gets inspired by what I try to do or what I really want people to do, that will be my day of happiness. So I really lived that in my initial days. So that is something that I really consider to be really a win in that aspect, that people are really happy about what I'm doing, and they are really you know giving me that inspiration, giving me that motivation that yes, what I'm doing is correct, and that gives me the confidence. So yeah, that was about it. But the next question, as you're a CSE student, can please suggest us something good for us to do? Um, that sounds like an academic question. As a CSE student, obviously you'll have to be good in languages. But if you're not having an interest in languages, just be sure about all of the terms, all of the technicalities a CSE student should have, because CSE deals with technical things, technical skills. So just try to develop your technical skills. As long as you are good in your technical skills, you will be far ahead of your league. So yeah, that you can do. Apart from that, not just about your CSE student, as long as you any person, not just from CSE background, but any background, as long as you keep on developing yourself, as long as you do not stop in upskilling yourself, you can yeah, Shoaib Nawaz, what I'm trying to say is about general aspect. It's not about CSE or mechanical, but any background that you are from, as long as you know that you are upskilling yourself, you're developing yourself, not just in terms of technical skills, but in every aspect. As long as you are seeing your growth chart growing up and up, then you will be doing something good in your life, not just in your professional life, but also apart from that. Because again, as I said you that if you lose your character, you'll be losing everything. So develop on yourself. That is something that I always tell to the teenagers, that and the young adults, youngsters, the Gen Z people, that most of us lack in these things, the soft skills, the things that we are supposed to do, the things that we are supposed to have, the etiquettes, the good manners. It might sound really childish, but to be very fair and to be very honest, these are the things that if you develop yourselves right from now onwards, then you'll be gaining a lot of other skills. And those skills, like for example time management and a good creative thinking, for example, these two things you'll be developing if you develop all of your etiquettes and good manners. Those two things will be helping you to develop your skills in your academic point of view, be it mechanical, be it computer science, be it civil or electrical, anything. All of these things that we have been taught from our childhood days, that we have been learning from our culture, from our tradition, if we actually live life on those things, then that will be helping us to have a good a life in your academic perspective as well. So focus on the groundwork, just the groundwork, develop your skills over there. Follow all of the teachings, all of the etiquettes that have been taught to you by your parents, elders in your life. Focus on that, imply on that, be active on that, and that will help you to have a good academic life as well. All right, what are you most afraid of? uh, um, it does not occur to me right now, but what I can think of is, if I do not be up to the limits that I can be. Like for example, I said that be the best version you can be. So in order to fulfill all the other things, if I do not be reach to that level, if I do not basically fulfill the aim or the goal that I have set for myself, that yes, I can go till there, and if I do not go till there, that will be the biggest fear, that nothing should stop me from that. That is my fear, I would say. I know that's not a proper answer, but that's what occurred to me right now. Self-education is key to success, definitely, because see, again, it depends on what measure of scale that you're measuring success on. If you are measuring success in different basically, if you are measuring success in any aspect, self-education is really important, because as long as you know what you're doing, right? If I, for example, I'm doing so and
Again,
so thing.
Ubaid, I'm really sorry to interrupt.
It's
The
okay.
session is all cool and all, but we are going to end again.
Sure. Okay. No
Because the
problem.
time is up, and I guess this is not getting extended because I've extended the session for too long.
No problem. No problem. Any questions, you can always reach out to
And
me
we,
via
we
mail or
can go
LinkedIn.